Yeah.
Play some economy sweep using crunch, meaning not full distortion, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Okay. So once you hit that button over there, the second one should, yeah. So the literal crunch button. We have a crunch button, I believe.
We have a crunch button, the second one.
Right, that's the crunch button.
Yep.
Okay.
I think it's preset or something.
Okay. So we'll just add a little.
I think it's still a whole bunch of gain on it, right? No?
No, it's a preset. It's the crunch. It's automatically set. This is the factory settings. I don't.
Okay.
That's how it is. So that's the crunch. Sound.
Crunch.
This is the definition of crunch.
Yeah. How the amplifier understands that.
So I'm gonna just use normal keys. So you guys actually should copy, and if you want to. Okay. So I guess you're saying what was it? Economy and sweep picking using crunch. Okay.
Just say quick.
Fine. So we'll do basic arpeggios. I guess for here, start would be mine, right? A little slow so you can see it. 7-string guitar, by the way. Okay, so I have the extra note. Okay, there's your sweep picks. Economy picks, E minor. Now, obviously, when you go to super speed, there's going to be some loss in the notes because there's not the wave isn't fully making a cycle, okay? Because there's not enough current to make the cycle. So it comes to a point where you will go faster than the distortion can handle, okay? Because it won't allow it to propagate the wave. Meaning a wave, it goes like this, right? Everybody learned this in school. If the frequency of the wave is wide, right, wider than you're playing, it becomes a conflict, and you don't finish the wave. So the more distortion, obviously, the better it is to get that sound out. But to me, I'd rather play with clean or extreme distortion than play with crunch when I'm trying to sweep or play fast, because there's a speed barrier that happens where if I had distortion, you'd hear it sounds more fluid. Because the frequency of the energy is so fast, right, that I can't play faster than the current. That's why solid state amps, when you're playing a full distortion, is always better to shred and do fast stuff than a tube amp. Because the tube amp's frequency is lower. The frequency of the current, it can only move so fast. So it comes to a point where your playing will exceed the limit of the distortion. Okay? So the distortion will become a hindrance, but if you're good and you're clean, it doesn't make a difference what you're playing on. Okay? Because when you're clean, you're clean. It just starts to sound like like a mumbly mess because of the current. But if you put the clean channel on, the button next. Can you hear that? Good, right? Should be loud enough.
Yeah. Can I make it a little bit louder?
Same B minor again. Okay. Okay. Oh, you work a little lag. I don't know if you can even hear that. You think you'll be able to hear that? Yeah? Make it loud. It's okay.
Good enough?
Yeah. Well, it's good enough. Don't worry about it. I'm not gonna get into any trouble or anything. All right. So again, we'll do the B minor. Just make sure you guys can hear it. You can make it loud. It's fine. Okay. Now you guys should be able to hear it. So. So what happens is that it comes to a point where now with the crunch, the wave isn't moving fast enough to keep up with my playing, right? On this end, you just don't have enough juice You know, like the car's trying to go, but there's no gas in it. You know, that's what happens. So you should be able to play on anything. Like I can take my classical out and sweep on the classical guitar. You know, you can play your economy picking. It's all the same thing. Because again, to me, there's only alternate picking in the end of the day, because you can only go up and down. Sweep picking and economy picking is only about the relation of changing strings. Okay, so I go from this string, I'm alternate picking. Right? I switch strings, I'm alternate picking. Okay? So when you say sweep or economy picking, the biggest misconception is that it's a different style. No. If you use common sense, there is only alternate picking in the entire world, except when you're talking about crossing a string. Okay? So as you cross the string, this is when we're talking about economy picking. Okay? Because if I go 3-note per string pattern, okay, simple major scale in G major, right? If I alternate pick, right, or if I sweep pick, same thing. The difference is when I cross. Am I crossing, skipping over, coming back, or am I crossing by doubling up in the same direction? Meaning, am I going down, down, or am I going down, up? This is the fundamental difference of alternate versus economy sweep picking. Okay? People think that this is a sweep pick. Okay? It's a rake. A rake is a form of economy picking because it's using less motion, meaning I have to move less distance. Again, if I go like this and go across the string and jump over and back, this is an extra motion, an extra movement I have to make the sound of the next string. Economy picking takes one of those motions away. I no longer, two of them actually, I no longer have to jump over and come back. I just go straight down. And I'm using the same energy, the same muscle twitch to get both strings, which, you know, breaks it down. I save a good 1/10 of a second. You understand? And when you're playing at 32nd note speed, you know, and you're flying, that 1/10 of a second makes a big difference. Okay, when you're playing at normal speed, like, okay, even I'll alternate pick this. Okay, you can do it really fast. Don't get me wrong. You can get your alternate picking up super fast. And I used to pride myself in the fact that I can alternate pick as fast as anybody can sweep pick, right? But it comes to a point where you know, when you really play and you play all the time, you'll know the difference. You'll feel it. You'll sense there's a little. You feel dragged. You feel stuck because of that cross. So if anything, I can say is the main thing, the main end of the whole argument, is that there is only alternate picking, and the economy picking thing is talking about crossings. Talking about how do I get from this string to the next string with the least amount of effort, and then get back to my alternate picking, because, you know, in the end of the day, you can only go up and down. That's it. There's only, you know, you can only tremolo pick. Okay, and you have to connect those two together. So that's basically how that works. And I guess a couple of examples of some sweep picking and some alternate picking. I'll try to slow it down a little bit so you can actually hear what the hell I'm doing. I'll go back to B minor again. Just I'll improvise some B minor crap. Okay. Okay. So obviously it's the same clarity, you know, clean wise and step wise and, you know, transition wise is distortion, but it's not gonna have the same texture. And that's another thing I was gonna talk to you about, was that, you know, it shouldn't be about, oh, is it clean guitar or is it distortion or is it crunch? No. Is it, what are you trying to accomplish? What is it? What do you want the listener to feel? Because I always tell my students that music is magic of the muse, right? It's like, you know, sleight of hand, sleight of eye, and inspiring other people. So what is it that you're trying to get the listener to understand? What do you want them to feel? You understand? If you're trying to play some jazzy ballad, putting the distortion up to full gain and doing 1,000 tapping licks is not going to do it. You understand? So clean versus distortion shouldn't be a versus. It should be a tool in the toolbox. You know? Like, and this is what I think has been lost in the last like 10 years. I've noticed a lot of players, they get stuck. Oh, I only play distortion. Or I only play clean. And have all these boxes and these rules. Instead of understanding, you're a carpenter, you need to know how to use all the tools, you know? Sometimes you need, you know, a hammer, and sometimes you need a freaking nail gun. You know, you have to know when to use both of them, you know? So don't waste your time in your life getting stuck in this box of, oh, I have to use this. No, they're different tools, and the technique should always be the same. So whether you're using an arpeggio on clean or distortion, the technique's the same. It's always going to be these notes. Excuse me. always gonna be those notes with like an alternate pick. Okay, alternate pick. Or sweep pick. It should be the same thing, whether there's distortions on or not. These are just techniques. Okay? If I'm playing a blues scale, if I'm playing it in metal, if I'm playing it in blues, it shouldn't make a difference. It's still a blues scale, right? The difference